Hello, hello, everyone. I hope you are having a fabulous day. And thank you for joining us today. I have an amazing guest, and again, another one of my co-stars from the movie, but a brilliant, very interesting, accomplished woman that I would love to introduce you to, and that is Barbara Steingass, who is an award-winning, recently just won a Quilling Award, in fact, best-selling inspirational author and speaker, radiant life coach and healer. She assists people to maximize their physical health, mental and emotional happiness, and spiritual joy by uncovering unsubconscious self-sabotage, which I definitely want to dive into, and learning to truly accept and unconditionally love ourselves in order that we may each shine our full potential of radiant light inside and out to the world. Love that. And how fitting is that to be joining us today on the Ignite podcast. And so with that, welcome, Barbara.
Hey, Kelly Lee. Hey, everybody out there. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Well, we're thrilled to have you. So, Barbara, give us, sort of catch us up. What's going on for you right now? You've got many things on the go. And of course, we've got our premiere coming up in January in Las Vegas. But tell me, what's going on with you?
I am writing more books. My other book that came out this year was Solving the Grief and Loss Puzzle. I lost my late husband 10 years ago and my late fiancé 4 years ago. So it's a practical guide for people to help nourish themselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as they're going through losses. And that doesn't mean just death. There are 40 different categorized ways that we lose that we have to grieve over. Other relationships, person doesn't have to die, it could be divorce, friendships end. It could also be that you lost your job, where you have to start over in a new place, like you have to give up where you're living in your home and move somewhere else. There's many different ways that we grieve, or need to grieve, I should say. And a lot of times we don't. We think, oh, that's too small, too minor, and we put it under the rug, and next thing you know, one thing happens and we explode and we don't know where that came from.
Absolutely. It begins to compound. And I've certainly had that experience myself in my life. Even as a coach therapist. And so, that is, it's something, and sadly, for some of us, we need to hit rock bottom or have a crisis or a trauma to kind of wake us up. But, I was kind of my mission, and I know yours and most of us that are doing this work in the world, that we would love for everyone to sort of begin to take a look, so that, because I believe everyone has a story and we all are going through this journey, life. And, I don't think any of us gets out unscathed, having to go through something in life, varying degrees. And, if you don't, I always say now, if you don't deal and heal, it will bite you in the butt at some point. It might not be next month, next year, it might be 20 years, 40 years from now. But it will get you, and then you will begin the work. So
right, and those are the things that keep us from shining our light and having the best life that we can have here. And if we don't deal with it, we stay the victim of the circumstances that we go through. And I feel we're meant to have these challenges so we can rise above and become the hero and heroine of our journey and shine our light and be more than we thought we ever could be. Because we don't know how strong we are until we go through things sometimes, and what we're capable of allowing for ourselves, and to grow and move forward and uncover those subconscious self-sabotages that we're doing, and to love and accept ourselves more.
Yes, exactly. And, I'm so glad that you wrapped us back to the self-sabotage, because I am an executive coach. I've been a coach for over 20 years. And so I deal mostly with high achieving, high performing individuals seemingly in life. But, the self-sabotage, it's been something the last 10 years that is it's still like a phenomenon. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I just can't believe it. I mean, I have someone who's just absolutely so bright, so successful, lovely. I mean, giving in the world. And then all of a sudden, the thing that they most wanted, they're like within two, they can almost
Yeah.
touch it with their hands. And right at that moment, they self-sabotage. They
Right.
absolutely combust. Um, I mean, and just lose it, the thing they
Mm-hmm.
wanted most. And it's just been something for me to, as a coach, I've really done a lot of research on this. And so
Mm-hmm.
what I've come up, and I'd love to talk to you more about it and get your thoughts on it. But, it could be, I mean, it even could be someone on a diet, right? I mean, we all know
Right.
what we should do, but it's a matter of
Right.
doing it. And then you may get almost there and it's your wedding coming up, or it's,
Yeah.
a fitness competition. It's a game. I do coach a lot of athletes as well. So it may be just working on health, and you blow it. I mean, you just
Mm-hmm.
don't do those leg days, or you
Right.
eat the carbs, and you're puffy for your model shoot, or whatever it is.
Right.
So why do we do that as human beings? And I certainly am
Yeah.
guilty of it as myself. And so what I've come up with so far is that I think that sometimes we're so used to hiding and not
Mm-hmm.
shining our light. There's the beautiful
Exactly.
poem by Marianne Williams, which I love. Who are we not to shine our light? And although we
Exactly.
want it, and we say that we're ready and we've been working towards it, right at the very last moment, we sort of lose it, and perhaps sabotage it, in fact. And so it's been sort of my observation that it's almost like we're not emotionally mature or ready, um, and or that we're just sort of stuck in this cycle of hiding. And so
Yeah.
we're right there at the
Right.
cliff, and then we blow it. So
And a lot of times we don't even know why we blow it, but
yeah,
a couple things are we're afraid of success, like you said. We're not used to shining our light, so we're used to failures, right?
yes,
Unfortunately,
that's right. You're true. Yes.
you know, there's a book called "What to Say When You Talk to Yourself" by Shad Helmstetter, and we are told no like a gazillion times. I don't know the exact number, but a lot. By the time we're like 5 or 10, and it's meant to help us, but it also holds us back.
Mhm.
You know, we get afraid. We don't think we're good enough or worthy enough, or what if someone makes fun of us if we don't do it the right way, or all these things can play a part. Everybody's story is different of why, but there's
Yeah.
something in there that is in our negative programming, and we're just so focused on what we don't want that we don't often get what we want. And I talked about this at the awards, at the Quilly Awards, when we got to share how we felt about winning it. And I shared one tip from the book, because I wrote my 5 top. I got the award, I should back up and say, for writing a chapter in Success Principles with other authors and Jack Canfield.
Yes.
And I wrote about my top 5 tips on how to stop self-sabotaging and love yourself unconditionally. And one of the things I shared was, we're taught our parents will say to us, don't forget. Our brain doesn't hear don't, it just hears forget. So we're conditioning our brain to forget things and to focus on what we don't want. That's why we don't get what we want. If we just switched it to a simple thing like remember,
Yes.
and say what you want to remember, then we will program our minds for what we want and start focusing on that, and then we will have more chance of getting the success that we want in our lives.
Yes, I love that. And
so that's what I found is very helpful.
Yeah, exactly. And I've studied brain science is huge for me. So it's absolutely true. Words create worlds. And I hope I haven't lost you, Barbara. Can you hear me? I've just had something come across my screen here.
There are some right there, like when I finished, you were like gone, like the signal broke up and I didn't hear you speaking for a second there.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, you're going out again, unfortunately.
Okay, well, what I was saying is words create worlds. And so, the brain, the subconscious, absolutely.
So I lost the signal.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
There you are.
Okay, well, technology is not our friend today at the moment.
Yes, right.
It's listening. What kind words could we say to the technology to engage it? But what I was saying is that words create worlds, and that our subconscious is listening, and words, and literally listening, and the universe and God and whatever your beliefs are. I mean,
Right.
literally listening to the words that we use or think. So I love that. And so, as a parent, I know that I've been guilty of saying to my kids, now don't forget to do your homework, or don't forget to wear your jacket, or whatever it is. And so
Right.
and
So
we do these
ingrained,
things.
it's
Yes,
ingrained in us to say that.
exactly. Instead of saying, oh, remember about your assignment, or
Yeah.
remember it's going to be -10 tomorrow, or whatever.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. And that, when we hear that don't too, growing up, we almost want to rebel it, like rebel against it as well, because we don't want to keep being told what not to do, what to do, and like you put down. So yeah, then it comes into play later, like you said, you're just on the verge of like your greatest success, and then all of a sudden, subconsciously, all that programming comes back in, you
Yes.
know, and
Yes.
you just slide down the slope, and we don't even know consciously why until we start asking questions and looking into it.
Mhm.
Like what is causing me to do this? Like
Mhm.
I realized last year, I get good income in, but why do I let it all go out? Like, what about that? Why am I self-sabotaging myself financially? And
Yes.
all of a sudden, when I ask the question, sometimes it doesn't come right away. You got to sit with it a little bit, let your subconscious kind of, brain pull it out, because sometimes it's real deep in there. So it's like a little computer working to try to find it. And then
Yes.
all of a sudden, the light bulb just went off, and I realized some things that happened to me when I was younger, because my dad had dysfunction with money. And there's a
Right.
thing that happened when my parents divorced, and I gave money for furniture that I wanted because my dad said he couldn't afford it because he had to pay the lawyer. And I thought I would get it restored back to whole, but he had a different idea of how to get my money back by putting it on a piece of paper and saying, like, if he bought a gift for my new stepmom or her immediate family, I would have to pay half. And within, I don't know, 6 months to a year, my whole life savings was gone. So
Yes.
I made some kind of agreement with that I never want that to happen again. So it's almost like I'm self-sabotaging. I'll spend my money before someone can take it from me, kind of thing.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
didn't even realize that I was operating under that.
Mhm.
Because sometimes when you're so hurt, you just stuff the emotions down and you don't really process it. You just know you're hurt and you don't want to feel that way again. So that was really eye-opening to realize why I was operating and I can change the story now. I realize that's not my truth.
No, that's
You know?
right.
But
I
I can
love
be the
that.
magnet
Change
on
this.
my little kid and take, and protect the assets, so to speak, in myself.
Yes, exactly. That's right. And we do have the choice to change the story.
Yeah.
But you first need to percolate on it and find
Hmm.
this current story that we have
Yeah.
buried within us somewhere. And there's where the work comes, right?
Right.
And that's fabulous. And kudos to you for doing that work and
Thanks.
discovering that for yourself, and so that you can change the story going forward
Right. So
and
yeah,
help
asking
others.
empowered questions, not victim questions, is a way to uncover that. Like,
Yes.
not why am I so stupid and I'm not saving any money? Like that would, like Anthony Robbins says, ask crappy questions, you get crappy answers. So you want to share, ask it, in a way that's empowering for you so that you can unlock it. And then you want to feel the emotions and be able to process through it, forgive whatever you need to do. Like I forgave my father, that was his way of
Hmm.
dealing with it, and that forgive myself that I didn't, I was too young to be able to do something different, but now I can.
Hmm.
And to just allow that to move forward and tell myself I am deserving of saving money. I am
Hmm.
deserving
Yes.
of, having financial success as well,
Hmm. Right. Exactly. I think it's not a small topic, forgiveness, and I can just remember an example from my own life through a divorce. And I remember going to a retreat workshop, and one of the most powerful questions that was asked of me that weekend was, it was a deep healing 4-day weekend, and one of the most powerful questions was, what do you most need to forgive yourself for?
That's a great one.
Oh my God, it just set me back on my butt. And
Mm-hmm.
that was a big question. So it's not lost on me when you just said I needed to forgive myself,
Mm-hmm.
around these money issues, and going forward do things a little differently. So that's wonderful. So tell me more about your business. Tell the listeners about your business. Now, what is it you're currently doing besides writing these amazing books and sharing your wisdom with the world? But what are you doing in your business?
I love to do speaking engagements. I just spoke at my church a couple of weeks ago and did a workshop on grief. And this coming, not this Sunday, the next Sunday, the 9th, I'm actually collaborating with a wonderful gal who is a certified journey dance instructor. And we're doing a combination of, I do chakra balancing, healing work.
Oh, wonderful.
So I balance people's chakras with a crystal. I also offer Reiki energy with the other hand. And when I do a one-on-one session, I get an intuitive message for each chakra on what the person needs to do to keep that area balanced or in check at that moment in their life.
Mm-hmm.
But this way, it'll just be a general balancing. I won't get a specific message because people are dancing and moving around, so it's not an intimate session. But so we're calling it a chakra balancing journey dance. I'm going to do it at my friend's yoga studio, so that'll be really cool.
Yeah.
And nice to help people relax and chill out before the holiday tension and stress, and hopefully keep them from feeling that so much. When,
Absolutely. And well, I've been a dancer my whole life. I mean, it's if anyone who knows me knows that I love to dance, and dancing to me is very healing. Kinetically moving my body is a big thing for me, and I believe for everyone. So I love that. That sounds beautiful. I wish I was closer to New Jersey, and I'd show up for that. That sounds beautiful. What a great experience. But as the holidays are approaching, what would you say, what would be some tips that we could maybe talk about for maybe some people that maybe this year wasn't a great year, maybe they've gone through some loss, or they know they're going to be in a situation that could trigger them. What would be some little tidbits of wisdom that you would like to share?
One of my favorite tools is breathing, because we have it on us at all times. We don't need anything else but ourselves to do a deep breathe. And a lot of times we don't take the time to deep breathe. We're on like the hamster wheel. We're running here, we're running there, and we shove down food. We don't even breathe while we're eating. Just stop and take a deep breath, because it helps us physically by giving our bodies more oxygen, which is important fuel we need. Also gets the garbage moving, the lymph system, out of our system, because you need movement, and breathing is the only way that gets out of our bodies. It helps us emotionally and mentally, gets us to take a time out, so to speak, just to kind of slow the thoughts going on in our head, that hamster wheel that we get on, like I said before, and also taps into it spiritually. So it gets all 4 quadrants, when you get that quiet time to maybe hear an inspirational message or an intuitive message that we're overlooking because we're so busy that we don't take time to just stop. And that can help in any kind of situation, especially when you're going under more stress, to just take a nice deep belly, breath. A lot of people, especially women, we breathe up in our chest, and that's very stressful. You want to be able to, use your diaphragm and just really kind of slow yourself down. So that's one of the best things we can do when we're, feeling stressed. And writing, sometimes we can't always say what we're feeling, or sometimes we don't want to confront someone else because we're in our people-pleasing mode, or we hate to have conflict, because I know I'm guilty of that. I'm working on that stuff. Sometimes just writing down your feelings can be very helpful. Painting or dancing, anything that's creative to help release that energy and tension that we're feeling inside of ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. That's such beautiful, such a beautiful way of dealing and releasing, right? And shifting, and I love all of those. And, the breath work, I mean, you can dive deep into breath work. I mean, it's
there's so many different ways to
powerful. But just simply, even if you're going into a meeting, or you've kind of lost it with your kids or lost it with your spouse, just to bring yourself back and reground just with some breath work, which can just be simple, deep belly breaths. And, ladies, let your belly out. And,
it's okay. Not bad.
That's right. You can blame it on the holiday cookies or whatever, but you know, it's true that women do breathe in their upper chest, and
Right.
I think we all, men and women, do it, especially when we're stressed. They take these shallow breaths, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that gets us more stressed and, you know, heightens everything, you know, it makes it hard to deal with things. So that's just taking a time out. Like you said, sometimes the best thing is to just say nothing, you know, because especially when we're in dialogue with someone else, it gets tense. Everybody wants to kind of top each other. It's about being right, not really being committed to the relationship. We want to be committed to the relationship, but we're coming from that, again, self-sabotage of where, no, I have to be right. I have to have the last word. Just take a breath and just release the tension. It can shift the energy, you know?
Absolutely. Like, I feel relieved just hearing you say that. It's exactly right. It's just letting it roll and not trigger you, and just doing it differently, you know. Going into, you know, we all have people normally in our family that we may not see all the time, but then we all have a way to push each other's buttons, and it can just be a look. It can be just a look, you know, not even words. And so it is exactly that. So thank you for pointing all of those out and bring those.
Can I share one more thing that came to me about that? So my mother lives in Germany, and sometimes things can get a little heated, and she has an old head injury too, so she can be a little more emotional. And she was starting to get heated about something really silly. And so normally I'd get angry maybe or say so. So this time I just took a deep breath, and I actually clicked on the phone, gave it a minute, called her back, and the universe actually helped me. Before that, I tried to call my home phone, because it was on my cell phone, to see if she got the message, because she can't call my cell phone. She can only call the home phone, to see what her state of mind might have been in. But I couldn't. It kept saying call failed. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll just say I lost signal.
Yes.
So I call her back. I just calmly say, sorry, I lost signal. And we started up fresh.
Yes.
That energy, I had to do something to shift the energy, and that's what I decided to do. And it worked. It was really cool. So I did something different than I normally do, and it actually worked out better. And we were able to have a much more pleasant conversation because I set that boundary. That's another thing. It's important to set boundaries in a healthy way. Like, I didn't hurt her by doing that. I was just able to cut that tension, regroup, and then we were able to have a normal conversation without that escalating tension.
Right, exactly. And the other beautiful piece in that is that when you start to do it differently, you're actually, you know, in a sense, teaching or showing or leading the way on for the other person to do it differently, so that you don't get back into the old habit of this dynamic that can get a little crazy and offside.
Right, that stimulus response.
Yes, exactly, because you can only control yourself and only change yourself.
Exactly.
But as you're sort of changing and doing things differently, you know, others they have no choice but to sort of
they have to shift. You can change them, but you can help them shift.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and it's subtle, and it's effective way, absolutely, to go forward. So I love that. Well, do you know, we're getting close to being time to say goodbye. Sadly, these podcasts are meant to be like a coffee chat, short and sweet. And you know, Barbara, before I bring things to a close for us, can you just tell the listeners where they can find you online?
Sure. My website is barbarasteingas.com, so my name.com. My name is spelled Steingas, and those are S's as in Sam. My email is barbara@barbarasteingas.com, and on Facebook I'm on as Barbara Steingas is my business. Barbara Wall Steingas is my personal. And my Twitter is @Barb. I just changed it. I'm sorry, so I don't remember. I think it's @Barb Steingas is my Twitter account.
Well, if they have the website, it's probably on there.
What's that?
I said if it's on the web, it's probably on your website, right?
Oh, yeah. All my links are on my website. Absolutely.
Right. Wonderful. Well, thank you for that. And so I always ask my guests as a parting question, and meant to leave our listeners with some takeaways on igniting. And so what do you do personally to maybe 2 or 3 things daily to ignite yourself or reignite yourself on a daily basis?
I I've done so many things, but what have I done recently? Because I've done a lot in the past when I healed myself from Crohn's disease. But what do I do to keep myself? Well, I do a lot of the deep breathing. That I do like every morning, the deep breathing. Then gratitude. I love the gratitude, thinking of 3 to 5 things every day that I'm grateful for.
Yes.
You know, because we can't always be happy, but we can always be grateful for something, and that can keep you by a thread sometimes before you fall down into the rabbit hole.
That's right.
So attitude of gratitude, deep breathing, and focusing on where I'm going, not on, what I'm not doing right. I mean, you have to attend to that. It's like weeds in a garden. You got to clear up the weeds when they're there, but I want, just stay focused on where I'm going, and that I'm deserving of it, and that I will get there. Just keep on the path and keep moving forward, and not to give up.
I love that. I love that. So, the deep breathing I love, and the gratitude, absolutely. The smallest of things.
Yeah.
But I really love what you just said there about staying focused, future focused, right? Yesterday was yesterday. Things maybe didn't go the way you wanted them to go. But, it's about staying future focused. And okay, we had a dip, so let's make some shifts, maybe focusing on the tweaks you need to make. And, tomorrow's a new day, and you have a chance to begin again. So, or maybe change up your plan a little bit. I mean, that's how we run businesses. We have a plan for the year, but we also need to be open to making some changes and have some flexibility. So
right, that's all part of the journey to get us to the destination. That we're not, I have a big thing about perfectionism. I'm letting that go. It doesn't have to be perfect to move forward, and to just do your thing. Just be out there, and sometimes it doesn't always go right, but it's okay. You're moving forward, you're learning, you're growing, and that's how you get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes within that, it's what's that Garth Brooks song, Careful What You Wish For, or whatever it is. I love the song. I can't think of it just now, but sometimes the universe and God know what they're doing, and so when we fall,
it's better than we do.
Sometimes it's a good thing, because it actually saved us from a bigger wreck that may have happened 6 months down the road. So
exactly, I love that, Kelly.
So
That's
yeah,
great.
It's about the growth, and it's about being open to looking at how to do it differently, and not be stuck in the past and your rigid way of the way you thought it needed to be done. So that's brilliant. That's really wise, and I know for a fact that works. So love that. Wonderful. Well, I am so excited to see you in January.
I can't wait. That's going to be so awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be what a great party and celebration of. It's been 2 years working on this movie, so I can't wait. And to get all of us together, it's just going to be beautiful. And of course, we would love to have all of you join us. And you can find out more information about how to join us on the red carpet for the world premiere of Becoming the Keys at thekeysmovies.com. And with that, I will say goodbye to our Barbara. And we will speak to you next time. And in the meantime, maybe take some time today and sit down and think about how you're going to stay ignited through the holidays. And maybe just sort of make a deal with yourself on how it is you're going to sort of do things a little differently, so that you can truly enjoy and drink in the joy of this season that's coming upon us. So with that, I will say goodbye, and get out there and ignite, and let's change up the world together. And we will speak to you next time. Thank you. Thank you, Barb.
Thank you, Kelly. Bye-bye, everyone. Happy holidays.